Welcome back to Bible and Blues. Today we are in a new environment. As always, try to get you a new one every day as much as possible. Clearly, you see a bunch of jellyfish behind me, and this is actually a layout that's familiar to me. If you've been to a few of these things before, you'll recognize it yourself. So without further ado, we're doing Acts 24, and in Acts 24. Paul has a trial that he's dealing with. He's dealing with the Sadducees and the Pharisees and the Sanhedrin. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment on this video. Tell me what you think about it. I am just another layman out there reading the Bible and trying to puzzle this stuff out myself. If you have any insights, if you're seminary trained and you think I got something wrong, hey, let me know. I want to learn. I'm here to learn along with everybody else. So without further ado, Acts 24. 5 days later, the high priest Ananias went down to Caesarea and with some of the elders and a lawyer named Tertullus. They brought their charges against Paul before the governor. When Paul was called in, Tertullus, remember he'd been imprisoned in a gilded cage of Herod's palace. So that's where he's been, trying to just avoiding the Sanhedrin, because he knew he wouldn't get a fair trial. When Paul was called in, Tertullus presented his case before Felix. We have enjoyed a long period of peace under you, and your foresight has brought about reforms to this nation. Everywhere and in every way, most excellent Felix, we acknowledge this with profound gratitude. There is some serious butt-kissing going on here. But in order not to weary you further, I would request that you be kind enough to hear us briefly. Wow. We have found this man to be a troublemaker, stirring up riots among the Jews all over the world. He is a ringleader of the Nazarene sect and even tried to desecrate the temple. So we seized him. By examining him yourself, you will be able to learn the truth about all these charges we are bringing against him. Yes, I said that in a very presumptuous and pompous manner. Thank you very much. It's kind of how I view this guy. Thank you. The other Jews joined in the accusation, asserting that these things were true. When the governor motioned for him to speak, Paul replied, I know that for a number of years you have been a judge over this nation, so I gladly make my defense. You can easily verify that no more than 12 days ago I went up to Jerusalem to worship. My accusers did not find me arguing with anyone at the temple or stirring up a crowd in the synagogues or anywhere else in the city. And they cannot prove to you that the charges they are now making against me. However, I admit that I worship the God of our ancestors as a follower of the way, which they call a sect. I believe everything that is in accordance with the law and that is written in the prophets. I have the same hope in God that these men themselves have, that there will be a resurrection of both the righteous and the wicked. So I strive always to keep my conscience clear before God and man. After an absence of several years, I came to Jerusalem to bring my people gifts for the poor and to present offerings. I was ceremonially clean when they found me in the temple courts doing this. There was no crowd with me, nor was I involved in any disturbance. But there are some Jews from the province of Asia who ought to be here before you to bring charges if they have anything against me. Or these who are here should state what crime they found in me when I stood before the Sanhedrin. Unless it was this one thing I shouted as I stood in their presence. It is concerning the resurrection of the dead that I am on trial before you today. That is what he said to them then. Then Felix, who was well acquainted with the way, adjourned the proceedings. When Lysias the commander comes, he said, I will decide your case. He ordered the centurion to keep Paul under guard, but to give him some freedom and permit his friends to take care of his needs. Several days later, Felix came with his wife Drusilla, who was Jewish. He sent for Paul and listened to him as he spoke about faith in Christ Jesus. As Paul talked about righteousness, self-control, and judgment to come, Felix was afraid and said, "That's enough for now. You may leave. When I find it convenient, I will send for you." At the same time, he was hoping that Paul would offer him a bribe, so he sent for him frequently and talked with him. When 2 years had passed, Felix was succeeded by Porcius Festus, but because Felix wanted to grant favor to the Jews, he left Paul in prison. Here ends the reading of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So Felix, who was married to a Jewish woman, didn't really. He heard the word. This is a kind of a case, and we know this a lot as people who are followers. He heard the word. Paul gave him the word. Paul told him about Jesus, about self-righteousness, self-control, and the judgment to come. Felix wasn't hearing it properly, wasn't taking it into his heart. What he was hoping for a bribe. He was hoping that Paul would give him a bribe to be freed, and Paul wasn't having any. Paul didn't care about that. That's not what Paul was about. And so 2 years he spent in essentially a gilded cage. The followers, other followers of the way, Christians, were there, and they could, they could bring him things. They could make sure he had food, make sure he had clothing. They could talk to him, writing utensils, things like that. So, this is one of those places where Paul probably wrote an awful lot of his letters here. So, anyway, thank you so much for coming. We're going to check this little area out. If you've been around VRChat for a while, you've seen a world modeled after this. This is a basic asset. It's a large one, but it's a basic asset. So let me turn the camera around. There we go. And you can come up here. You can come up to this one here and hop up and hang out in the bean bags. They have not turned on the seating in this one, which whether that's by design or not, some people just don't think about it. So I can't sit down, otherwise I would. Nice little spread here of cakes and cheesecakes and chips. They put a nice little coffee machine here for you. Granted, yes, it's all virtual. It's not like you can actually drink from it. But you can sit and relax and watch the jellyfish float about. That's pretty. Then we go upstairs. Right here where you see the clock there, yes, you can see it is Sunday evening. I'm doing this. Right here, this is where you would usually see the other, the option for turning on colliders and seating and things like that. And I said, I've seen this one in other places, and these posters would have advertisements for avatars or for other worlds or things like that. And let's see here. We're going to go this way. Let's go this way. I've been up in this one. In other places, this was like a bedroom. And again, yeah, like a bedroom. They have Lo-Fi Girl up, just so you know. That's what that particular thing is. If I turn the sound up, you could hear the music for Lo-Fi Girl. And again, it's be another place where you can see the colliders. You can make that choice, but they don't have them up here. Don't know if they just didn't. They didn't have the foresight, didn't have the knowledge. I don't know. This is a nice world. I've seen it before, and this is I've seen this, and they used to be able to watch movies in VRChat. There were places that had just a list of movies, and well, let's be honest, they were ripped. But you could come into there was a place like this you could come into that was that had a whole lot of movies you could watch. But you can see this. It's actually it is pretty neat, and it's fairly extensive. And like I said, I've been to one like this that used the same format before. And let me see, is that? And I'm just going to make sure I get the right direction here going on. That goes down to where we're just at. And then we come in here. You can see if some people with some memories of VRChat up. This is actually can be a fish tank. You can put virtual fish in here. I often see that in these. And there's a lot of times there is more. You can go through that door and get to a lot more. You cannot now, not in this one. This was not designed large enough for that, but it's still neat. So that's this world, and it's pretty neat. I'll put the name of it on the on here because I can't remember the name of it. So you can see where we are, and you can go check it out yourself. Like with most of these, you can put your own spin on here and put some your own videos up. Perhaps, I don't know. I haven't seen any place where you can put it. Avatar now is an Avatar advertisement. Good for them. They're getting some advertising dollars. Oftentimes, really popular places will get really busy with a lot of advertising. So, oh look, yeah, maybe it's like that. Let's see here. Mirror. Yep, and object global. Okay. So yeah. So that's some of the things you can do here. This is what's one of the like I said, I've seen this asset, this room asset before. I'm not. I think it's pretty neat, and I like it. Like I said, I used to sit and watch movies and things like that in these, but they put the kibosh on that. Can't watch rip movies anymore. What can you do? How dare they make you not being able to do watch illegal movies? But that has been able to for quite some time. So anyway, that's kind of all I have for you today. Let's see here. I'm going to turn this around and back it up so you can see the jellyfish. But thank you for coming. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow, comment on this video. Tell me what you think. If you've been, do you recognize this world as a place that you've seen before? Yeah, I've seen a couple of them now like this, and it's just like I said, it's a basic floor plan. So, but thanks a lot. Have a great day. God bless. Bye.